Hi, my name is Robin Burgeon. I'm CTO of Science.ai, and today I'm basically going to show things as I talk on top of them. So the idea is to set up a journal in 7 minutes and start publishing to it, and to use the web as the platform. Basically, the idea is that there are no platforms anymore except the web. It's the one big box into which we all happily jump. So here we're setting up a journal, we're adding tons of metadata. All that data is then available to search engines, etc. There's an ontology to go with that you can plug into so that eventually people can find journals easily. The idea is really to build an ecosystem rather than a silo around the content that you enter. So we're still going through creating a journal here. You can customize, obviously, anything you want. Again, this is all standards-based. It's all CSS. The idea is that we use the web for everything. It's just web, 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 web. I might stop saying web at some point and just assume that it's every other word in my sentence. And so you keep creating. Again, same here, what you saw in the domain. You just enter your domain. It's automatically pointed to us, automatic HTTPS, automatic web compatible. The idea here really is that we want to make simple things easy and hard things possible. That's the driving philosophy throughout. So if you're on your own, starting a journal, whatever, you do not need any technical staff. You can just point and click through the UI and progressively set things up to create your journal. Or if you have competent technical staff, or if you're a complete nerd like me who likes to code, then you can use the exact same product and platform to build your journal on. But this exemplifies the user interface. So here we're adding collaborators to the journal, inviting people, tagging them. They'll receive an email that we can edit. The idea of again, tagging people with given fields might allow you to find, for instance, an editor across a broad set of journals, because we publish all that data, we make it available. So, for instance, someone could piggyback off this platform to build a recommendation system where you would find an editor rather than finding a journal, and then submit to that journal based on the quality of the editor that you found. So then once you've set that up, you go and create a workflow. Again, full flexibility. Everything is completely open, completely documented, completely accessible. And the idea is that we want to enable experimentation easily. So even if you have no technical know-how, you can go in there and tweak any kind of custom blinding for the review, who can see who in the permissions matrix, or whether authors can see editors and so on and so forth. Again, here you can customize the workflow. Yes, it started again. So this is the basic default workflow. You receive the author uploads a manuscript, the editors assess it, and then it can move on to the production stage. But we're actually adding, we want something a bit more serious with some serious review here. So we're adding a review stage in which you can pick like reviewers and how much time they have, the number of reviewers they need, and you can ask specific questions to the reviewers that they need to fill out. And once again, this might seem unusual, but all of that is actually exposed then to the web as something open. So for instance, one thing that you could build on top of this, again, if you don't just want to stay into the UI, but you want to develop into like further functionality build on top of it, is, for instance, when we entered a question here that's yes or no, you could decide to expose that question to a Slack channel, for instance, where your reviewers could go, oh yes, I've read that article. They get a notification, see the article, answer yes or no. Editors could be notified that reviews are in, etc., etc. The idea is that you can build everything on a powerful backend. Yes. So we keep going through this work. I'm not going to. I mean, it would take hours to basically explain all the features of the platform. But the idea here is that you can just build everything you might wish to build on top of this. There's also an integrated payment platform. We don't yet support the upcoming standard for web payments, but we will once it's ready. the idea again here is also to enable experimentation on the business side. So for instance, if you have this wonderful idea about how authors could pay this, maybe other people could pay that, or authors could be financed through a third party and that sort of stuff, then you can also build that through the payment platform that is directly available. So I'll just keep going very quickly. Here, the workflow is ready, and it generates an editorial board to which the authors can submit. We have a standardized universal style guide across the board. This enables us, in some cases, in a lot of cases, to provide $0 typesetting. So that means that authors who can just use Word, for instance, will just upload a manuscript and it will immediately work. There's no magic weird style sheet that you need to understand in Word, no strange Word plugin functionality, nothing. We take the horrible world of Word and we turn it into high quality web content automatically with automatic typesetting. Obviously, if you want to plug in your own typesetters because you have specific needs that might be different, you can do so, but you can get typesetting entirely free and entirely automated through Word imports. So here we dropped in a Word document. You can see it's got like all the text, the citations have been embedded as rich data, tables, images, everything in a highly web compatible set of formats. One thing that we believe very strongly in as well is that open content actually outlives open source and like any kind of software by possibly an order of magnitude in terms of time. The first web pages that were created on the web over 25 years ago are still available today, and they're still readable by today's software because they are made using open standards. The first browsers, you can still find them in museums, but they're dead, and their descendants are dead as well. We've had a complete overhaul several times over since. So the idea in relying in open content is to provide perennity to the system. Basically, all of that information that has been generated, see now the author is adding a supplementary video that's also generated in all the best practice ways to work on the web in the same way that the images are. All of that will be, if you want to experiment with the platform, you can then get all that data out and do something else with it because it's just standards. We invent nothing in terms of formats. It's schema.org, which is what's used by all the major search engines. It's HTML5, which is what's used by all the major everyone. It's PNG, all the video formats, everything you can imagine. And also because it's built for the web platform, everything can be linked. So here, the author indicated that the video and the figure are actually related to one another, so that you can say, hey, this data actually feeds into this piece of code that generated this figure that's related to this video, and you can, this is a simple example, just relating one figure to one video, but you can go into full crazy reproducibility mode, and then editors can then see all those manuscripts come in through the dashboard. This is a dashboard, and as you can see, they're in different states of advancement. So again, using the same, I'm going to repeat this again, open standards, web, people can decide to review, hear it, and notice that they don't have the right people, so they invite someone to the manuscript. Everything happens in the context that you're familiar with. So there's your inbox of incoming manuscripts as an editor, but if you also want to work on the manuscript directly, you see the same current actions at the top, and you can act on them. So here they're inviting a reviewer to the manuscript to see what, to basically review the manuscript. And all of that is available again in the UI and in an API. So for instance, this actually invited me, Robin, as a reviewer for this, and you can add comments, and you're going to see there's a rating up there. Oops, it just disappeared. So yes, it was great, the methods are sound, and rating absolutely wonderful article, would buy again. And again, the 4 stars you see there, use the same technology that Amazon uses to put 4 stars on their site, that every single e-commerce website out there uses to put 4 stars on their website. And we can even embed that into email so that if you want to like quick rate tiny articles, some people want to do that for nano publications, for instance, you could do it like get the claim in your email and rate it directly from your email. This might look like a gimmick, and it's certain that you wouldn't want to use that for any kind of article, but you can build completely new ways of reviewing things just through this system. And so now we have this article still being reviewed. Now it's time to make a decision. The editor can see that everything looks great. The reviewers thought it was wonderful. There's embedded annotation that everyone can contribute to and enter discussions. And so they decide to accept, go ahead and move on with the publication of the article. Again, everything automated here. You invite a producer, and as soon as it's published, you see it appear to your, that would be your right, on the journal there. That's entirely dynamic. All of the rich data that I've been talking about is directly embedded there. So it's embedded for humans, obviously. You can see it, it's nicely styled, yada, yada. But it's also embedded for machines. When Google search or any other kind of search engine hits that page, they don't just see this nice styling, but they can also see, if you look here, that there's actual embedded, directly machine-readable metadata there. This means two things. It means that content will be much more easily discovered, content will be much more easily processed, and it can contribute to an ecosystem. We don't want a silo, we want a real ecosystem. So for instance, like TrendMD could spider this and actually extract all the information directly from it, far more than with the scholar tags or stuff like that. Same for reference managers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So everyone can basically benefit from the creation of this data, of this rich data, and build around this open ecosystem of web-based formats. And what else are doing? So obviously everything is mobile friendly, responsive, it loads quickly, it's all of the embedded content is also meant to work on mobile, so the images are responsive, the tables are responsive, and the videos are in multiple formats. So with this, you're basically ready to take off. I've spoken maybe a little bit quickly, because it's hard to start a journal in 7 minutes. But hopefully you get the idea. I mean, I'm a web guy, and I was very frustrated with science not being web-like at all. It's like the web didn't happen for science for the longest time. And so I'm quite passionate about making this pure web. It's all about interchanging content, making it possible to open it instead of reinventing every time we create something new. And again, building ecosystems on open formats, open content, with powerful tooling instead of building silos. So if you want to play with that, it's up online on science.ai. As I said, any data you put in, you can get out. It's yours. It's pay as you go, zero cost, zero setup. So just go ahead and have fun with the web. Thank you.